Hi, my name is Bill Thies. I'm with Microsoft Research in Bangalore. We'll tell you today about IVR Junction, and this is joint work with Aditya Vashist, who's now a graduate student at the University of Washington. So what motivated this project is that we see online, a lot of internet and social media has been a powerful force for driving dialogue around issues affecting disenfranchised populations. But one limitation has been there's very little inclusion in that conversation. In this room, we have a plethora of smartphones, computers, internet connections. If you look at the rural populations that are often the beneficiaries of these conversations, they still have low literacy, they have basic mobile phones, they're fluent only in the local language rather than the English conversation online. So what we wanted to do was see if we can bridge these two worlds. And what we've done is created a platform called IVR Junction, which enables rural populations to have a voice in online social media. IVR stands for Interactive Voice Response. That's the system you get when you place a phone call and it's answered by a computer with a set of interactive menus. We've released an open source package called IVR Junction. You can download it from ivrjunction.org. And you as an organization, maybe a community NGO, you can set up a server. And what it does is, the server just has a laptop, a modem, and our code. And when you've set it up, you can receive phone calls. So someone from a village can make a phone call. They record a message of local interest. Maybe it's news, maybe it's a grievance, maybe it's contributing to some other conversation, or they can listen to messages that others have recorded. What IVR Junction does is it automatically synchronizes that recording with online social media platforms. So it starts by uploading the recording to YouTube on a private YouTube channel where a moderator from that organization can come, they can listen to the message. If they find it's appropriate, they can optionally add a title, a summary, different tags, and then they can publish or release that message. That makes it audible on a public YouTube channel and also available on that organization's Facebook page and optionally on other services like SkyDrive, Dropbox, Twitter, and so on. Yeah.
So first it comes inside your server.
Yeah.
YouTube resides on your server.
No, so the organization does not need to host a website. They set up just with a laptop, they have a modem that receives phone calls, and then our program uploads that to YouTube. So we are not hosting anything. This is an open source tool that enables organizations to set up a voice portal where their community can call in to their office, can record a message, and then it gets synchronized with YouTube automatically. Is it clear? No. No, there's no transcription. It's all audio. So someone in a rural area can make a phone call. They record a message. It's stored as an audio file on a computer in an NGO. What our software does is it uploads this recording to YouTube. That's the basic functionality, and enables other synchronization features that I could talk about offline. But it's basically a way to have a phone call bridge to social media. So someone without internet access, without a smartphone, without English literacy, can make a phone call, record a message. Their message is on the internet without any intervention. So it's automatic. Their message goes straight to a Facebook page, straight to a YouTube page. So they have a role in the conversation. They can also listen to messages that others have recorded. If it's not clear, please ask another question. I have very few slides. We'll come back if it's not clear. So let me give you an example of what you can do with this. So last year, after the Delhi rape incident, there was a vibrant conversation online about what can we do to create a safer environment for women. But left out of that conversation were some of the most vulnerable communities, the places that don't have internet access, don't have smartphones, and so on. So within 24 hours, working with some local activists in Bangalore, they used our tool to set up a voice portal using IVR Junction where people could call and record a message. What is my experience with safety and violence in India? What are my aspirations? What is my request of the community to create a better environment for women? This went right on a Facebook page. It's still there. You can go to facebook.com/protectindianwomen. We have some powerful testimony that really conveys kind of like a petition, but it's in audio format. And you find it's a much more emotional and kind of engaging format to kind of advocate a cause as opposed to just signing your name. So we're pushing this as a potential audio petition platform. And by the way, some of you may be familiar with CG NetSwara. It's a celebrated platform that also does audio reporting of grievance redressal. Actually, I was a co-founder of CG NetSwara. I hosted the server in my house for several years. This is very similar, but it's much easier to set up. So that's what we've optimized here, is anyone with a Windows computer can very easily set this up. And that's what we're pushing now, is other organizations enabling them to set up a voice portal where people can discuss issues over the phone and connect to a global internet audience. So already in Somaliland, for example, the Parliament of Somaliland has used IVR Junction to set up a voice portal where rural citizens can record feedback to parliament members. Parliamentarians respond to this feedback over the internet and over the phone. Also in war-torn regions of Mali, the Voice of America has set up, with IVR Junction, a way of broadcasting news to rural areas that don't have infrastructure for internet or other technical means of communication, like radio and so on. So we're very excited to work with more organizations with a simple open source tool that makes your social media more inclusive of rural voices that would never access the internet directly. So I wanted to respect the time. I'll stop here and welcome your questions. Thanks. Does it make sense?
Yes.
Good.
How do you make these voices accessible?
So the audio recording is available on the internet. That's how it's,
Targeted? See, somebody wants to communicate to a parliamentarian.
yeah.
Are the voices reaching him?
Yeah, so if you go to somalilandparliament.net, you click under public feedback, you'll see thousands of messages from IVR Junction with responses from parliamentarians. So there needs to be a moderator, of course, to elevate what is the most interesting content, and we're working on letting callers also decide what is the most interesting content. You can upvote and downvote. But the ones that get highlighted, they do get attention because they're coming.
You classify them? These voices?
Classification you can also do. So we've demonstrated actually the callers can classify. What kind of content is this if you're listening to local things, and that can automatically come as classification.
Can you access one voice and show it?
I would be happy to. Is there internet on this machine? Okay, I'd be happy to show you offline. These are all active deployments. Yeah.
I just have,
In addition to voice, also text goes or only voice?
Text would have to be added manually. So the model is the moderator comes, listens to a recording on his YouTube channel. They can optionally enter a textual summary or transcribe.
Because voice is always for listening, but
Yeah.
text is always for action.
Text is for?
Action. So no action is taken on voice.
Well, okay, so if you're a journalist, if you're a policymaker, you would prefer text oftentimes to skim the content and so on. So that's why these, transcripts are useful.
You
Yeah.
might want to think about the election
Yeah.
commission software.
Yeah. If you can automatically transcribe.
Embed it into this.
Yeah.
Then so immediately if there are tag points
Yeah,
or
yeah.
this is a particular conversation that you're looking for
Yeah,
or
yeah.
searching for,
Yeah.
it gets highlighted.
I definitely want to discuss. I mean, a lot of our beneficiaries speak minority languages. So tribal languages like Gondi, Karuk, Kui, Chattisgarhi. So there's no voice recognition that I know of that does any reasonable job.
Did so far
So there are 25,000 recordings spread across all of these.
in how much time?
This has been within the last year.
And how many hits?
Hits, hits for us are phone calls. So, the participation we're trying to receive is over the phone.
So who is the end user of this?
So it depends on the deployment. The user is the NGO who sets up this portal. And for example, in Somaliland, the user is the parliament, and then their, participants are basically rural citizens who don't have internet access. They're now much more engaged. There's a much more transparent engagement between the citizens and the parliament there.
so what are news channels doing?
What are news channels doing? So often, news channels will monitor these recordings, and then they will base press off of those recordings. So they'll use this as seeds, basically, as leads to follow up. Of course, this still needs to be verified, fact-checked. This is not, bona fide news just because someone recorded it. But this is the portal. This is how you amplify a voice that otherwise would not have representation in an online platform.
You do the content verification?
No. So that we make the tool. These, fantastic organizations are the ones that do the hard work of deploying and having the impact in the field. Yeah.
Any more questions?
One more?
So I'm from Greenpeace India actually,
Yeah.
and you have a wonderful radio project that you guys have done. So if you can tell them a bit more.
Engaged with Greenpeace in Bangalore on several potential initiatives. The one that has the most press right now is similar to the audio petition that I showed. So, if you support this cause that might be championed by Greenpeace, you can place a phone call and either register your support with just a missed call. That's a very simple way of basically indicating you support this, or recording a message that then gets, aggregated, potentially summarized, and even played. You could play those messages on the steps of the government. Here are all the rural voices. So I think we may need to take offline the details of the specific deployment, but it's been a very powerful experience with Greenpeace. Thank you very much.